Good evening, fight fans, and happy Thanksgiving Eve as well. Welcome to another great episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. I'm your boy Bodkins, and of course, with me, as always, is Mr. Bobby Blunt. Bobby, we started talking last week was all about the 170s. Now that we have Islam, and we said, hey, we need to kind of see what happens this Saturday as far as Ian Gary, will he be next? Ian Gary wins a decision. I thought pretty much, if you want to tell me Bilal maybe won one round, I thought Ian handled business. And I think at 155, we have a clear-cut number one contender in Armen Sarukian, but it's all about, to me, the 170 and this logjam that is. You had Ian come on, and he cut a deep promo on the fight night. He was on the Ariel Helwani show this week. He is calling for Islam. The other, Shavkat also went on the Ariel Helwani show and said, like, hey, if they want him to fight a number one contender fight, bring it on. Yeah, but he feels like he's also ready for Islam. He said he'll be ready to turn in, I believe, March, April timeframe. But your thoughts on just kind of what is next or who is next for Islam, and is it Ian Gary? Did he do enough?
I mean, I can answer it a multiple choice route here, because I think that's going to be the answer we get down the line anyways. Has he done enough? Did he do enough to get the next title shot? Sure, I guess. If they gave it to him, I'd have no issue with it at all. Do I think that's who should be next and is the most compelling fight for Islam? Absolutely not. Not tier below. But he definitely did everything he needed to do. I think he kind of painted himself into a corner, claiming he was going to knock Bilal out. I don't think he was fooling anyone with that. I think we both kind of assumed it would go to decision. But he definitely looked sharp for a up and coming contender. He was doing well, not staying in Bilal's range, kind of dancing around and stuff. I'd be lying to you if the eye pokes did not drive me nuts. I would have personally taken a point off the first one. I know there are a lot of people that were saying the second one didn't look that bad, but to me, the second one occurred because he wasn't really checking from the first one, just poor warning and all. But, I guess all these other ones, I just kind of got to throw that out and ignore it. I was thankful the fight continued because, when I first saw that, I was like, oh, no, because, we've seen Bilal get poked before and the Leon fight had to end. So I'm glad the fight was able to resume. And, biggest takeaway is Ian's takedown defense continues to be probably one of his most elite traits. But just like the Jack Della Mena success against Bilal, I'm not really ready to crown this is absolutely the guy that Islam has to fight. This is the biggest challenge for him. Definitely a young up and coming contender that we will eventually see fight for the title. But should he be next? That is pretty debatable to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really up in the air, right? I think he is. If they gave it to him, I'm kind of with you. He could be the guy that if they gave it to him, it's okay, no big deal, right? You know what I mean? Maybe they want. I prefer to have Shavkat fight somebody one more before he fights the title, mainly just because he's been out for a year and then in some change. By the time he fights, he'd been out probably almost 15 months or so. That's a while. So I would like to see him get kind of a one. I don't really know who. I mean, Kamaru Usman would be the perfect person. Let him fight down in the rankings unless it's Sean Brady or somebody like that. Maybe they do Brady a solid, and we'll get to him here in a little bit. But if they did Shavkat and Islam, Shavkat kind of had 2 title shots. One time Bilal gets injured, next time he gets injured. So it's just like, well, maybe they do give him that, and I think it's Islam versus Shavkat. I mean, that's dangerous fight. That's a fun fight because what you don't know about Shavkat, right? Like, we haven't seen him in there into these deep, deep waters that Islam can take him. And we've seen Islam at 155 going to deep waters. And he won the championship rounds, had no issues with Jack. And speaking of Jack, like you mentioned it, like just because you can have success against Bilal's takedowns, as we saw Jack have, doesn't mean you're going to have success with, Islam's takedown. So there was a huge difference. But I do think, to me, I've said this for the longest time, Ian Gary's probably the smartest fighter in the 170 class. Just, he's going to play it safe. He's never going to put himself in a bad position. Name one, maybe the end of the not Morales, but the Protest fight, he got caught. But for the most part, like, he changes his game plan. He never does the same thing every time. He's smart. He's just a very smart fighter. So say what you want about him. So if it is Islam versus Ian Gary, and he's already right, we're already seeing it. The Connor and Ian and the Khabib and Islam stuff, but the UFC will use that, and so is Ian, to promote the fight.
It makes me want to say fuck him so bad, because like he's can't even keep what he's doing straight. Like, to me, it's more compelling for him to come at it with the Brazilian angle, saying, "Hey, I'm gonna get this back for Charles."
He said that too at one point. Like,
well, I mean, now all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe that Ian Gary is a prodigy of Conor McGregor. Like, so now we're just like making shit up to try. Like, you put in the proper work to get the title shot. I get the selling fight point, and I don't know if, like, maybe it's just me personally with Ian, like how he comes off, and it like rubs me the wrong way, because like I'm not trying to like really discredit the work in the cage at all. But at the same time, and like Shavkat kind of pointed this out in his tweet, he hasn't gotten a finish in a while. He takes these guys to decision. And when you do that, like, especially like you mentioned the Protest fight, he does make these mistakes to where he can get caught. And against someone like Islam, I just think that's just going to be such a problem. And eventually you're going to get caught with that. But like, as far as, does he deserve it? Yes or no? I'd say yes. But to me, like, I do not care about the inactivity on Shavkat's end. Like, he fought Gary when he did not even have to. Like, he went into that fight. Yeah, went into that fight injured. And, I think a big part of it is he knew if he didn't take that fight, he would not have had a fight, and he would have been even more inactive. But I just find it like very comical when we're going to be like, Ian Gary is absolutely the guy. Like, I think Anik was mentioning it with like his resume, but they're like conveniently leaving out that he has a loss against Shavkat.
Yeah.
And, to me, like, the Shavkat matchup is like the most compelling. Like, aside from Armen Ilia, which we'll get into later, I think that's the biggest fight they can make in the sport, just stylistically. Both those guys are just known finishers. Obviously the Gary fight went to decision and Islam took Jack to decision, but 9 times out of 10, these guys figure out how to get out of there. And seeing both of them matched up, I mean, I can't really prefer anything else, in my opinion. And like, to the point that like you raised last week, if it's not Shavkat, even though in no way am I banging the drum or saying he deserves it, I think Usman is the second most intriguing fight stylistically.
Agreed. Yeah, we went down that last week as well, and I still say that. Like, I think Usman and Shavkat would be the hardest fights for Islam. But I'm not nowhere near saying Usman should fight, and maybe he should fight Jack. Like him and Jack would be a good one. Like I feel like Usman needs one more, so why not fight the former champion in JDM?
If it was anyone else, like I'm really tired of stepping around this caveat. Like the only reason that this is a scenario is because Usman is managed by Ali. So like Usman, whether you like it or not, has the clout to be able to sit out and wait for the title next.
Yeah.
And I wonder if with all these other options they have, if that's why they go the Usman route, because they're just like a little unsure of how they want it. Like maybe they match up Morales and Prates, which I think
that's the fight I would love to see that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone kind of has that one circled, hoping to see it. But then again, like the weird thing is, if you go with anyone other than Ian, has he kind of gotten to this point where like, is he really going to accept another fight? It's not like they're going to match him up with Brady, with Morales just finishing him. I don't think there's even though like Ian Gary is that guy that took the fight with Shavkat, when no one else wanted, and like that's why I had no problem just giving it to him, because like he did step up against Shavkat
and stepped up and fought Prates too in kind of a shorter notice.
Yeah, and like even though he lost the fight,
UFC some favors.
Yeah, it's not so much he's done him the favors. He's willing to fight the guy that nobody else is willing to fight. Like, if that came, I think Usman has even publicly said, I'm not fighting Shavkat. Why would I even do that? Like, and, it's, I would love that. I think the JDM fight would be great. But that was like the greatest thing about Shavkat's interview. His main takeaway is, I want Islam next, but I will fight anyone. And people like kind of forget, like, before Islam was in the division, he was the boogeyman that no one wanted to fight.
Yeah, he's the guy I've been touting. I was thinking about this today, actually, because remember I told you last week, I said, slap me the next time I pick against Islam. I said, but should I've been touting that Shavkat's going to be a welterweight champ for like 2 years since this show's inception. And so I would have a hard time like picking that fight, right? Like I would almost have to go Shavkat just because of of me touting him for since this show's inception, really.
Well, I think in a lot of scenarios, we kind of always thought if we were ever going to get that fight, it would have been with Shavkat as the reigning champion and, Islam making the choice to move up. So it's kind of interesting with the inactivity. It's kind of like reversed now. And, it also shows like how quick the division can move. I mean, Bilal was literally just at the top of it. And now he's, coming off
2 fights. 2 fights later, he's done. Yeah.
So it's strange because like we're gonna get a lot of activity at the top, but the main question is just gonna be, is there someone that's gonna be able to dethrone Islam? And that's what like I hear the argument of give Shavkat one more, but like there's no warm up fights in this division at the top. So like let's just do it. And I know we're not going to get it because I'm asking for it. We're probably just going to end up getting Usman, but they got the benefit of having a good list of options. So it wouldn't shock us at all if they go with the one that no one really wanted.
Yeah. Mike here says Shavkat has had 2 bad injuries, a real bad personal problem, a life-changing one. I honestly think I'd rather see him get right with a tune-up before Islam. And that's kind of where I'm at too. But like you were saying, Bobby, I agree. There isn't really like, we say tune-up fight, but is a tune-up fight, who is that? Like he said, Kamaru Usman, I'm okay with that. Usman doesn't want that smoke, it seems like. Is it a Sean Brady? Like, do they say they go to Sean? Like Sean's kind of said like, hey, he's thinking about dropping down to 155, depending on what matchup they give him at 170. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of him going to 155. He's a pretty big guy. He says he walks around like 190, which I guess makes sense. But man, what your thoughts there? Like, what do you match up Shavkat? Like, who would you match up here as like kind of the tune-up fight?
I don't think a tune-up fight exists in the, like no slight at Prates, but that would be the only one that would like be considered a tune-up just because of the difference in probably the grappling. But at the same time, Prates is always kind of live for a KO. And
yeah,
I mean, I think that's just kind of my point. If you look at 1 through 5, 1 through 6, there really is no tune-up fight.
Yeah, there isn't.
About the I still would not consider this a tune-up fight because I would think it'd be competitive. And maybe it wouldn't sell the best because he's coming off the loss, but we never got to see Bilal Shavkat.
Yeah, I was going to say that might be like the tune-up fight, right? The fight that you never got.
He's at 6, but at the same time, like that kind of just goes to my point. Like, there's no tune-up fight in this division. Like a tune-up fight against a former champion, you know, it's and that's kind of why I'm so all in on just have him be next. You know, unless
so then who do you then does let's say you want to match up Ian, who do you fight? Who does Ian fight in the meantime? Morales.
I'm just waiting to fight the winner.
Yeah,
I think he's probably pitted enough with stepping up for him and stuff that they would kind of it would kind of be up to him wanting to get another one. But that's kind of the trickiest part about not giving it to Ian next is where do you match him up with next? Because you know,
on Tapology they have Kamaru 3. So they have Islam 1, JDM 2, Kamaru 3, Morales 4, Bilal 5. How the fuck you got Joaquin Buckley at 6?
Yeah, and you know that's another dangerous one. That I didn't even mean to leave out Buckley, but you know Buckley's called for Shavkat in the past, so I mean that's kind of another option if they don't do Shavkat.
Yeah, I mean Buckley just kind of. I'd like to see Buckley and Bonfim.
Yeah, I mean that would also work. Like 2 up and comers. That would stylistically that'd be great.
Because Buckley tried to reach right for the Usman and it didn't work out, so you do him and Bonfim now.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to be able to convince Ian to fight down after this performance. And they have him ranked at 2, right? Like just under JDM.
Who's that?
Ian?
Yeah. No, let me look at the official UFC rankings. I was looking at Tapology.
I mean, if he takes another fight next, he being Ian, and we do Islam versus Shavkat, why not Ian Gary versus JDM?
That's what I think. Yeah.
There's a little bit of, you know, heat there.
The whole candy thing. Remember when JDM was cutting weight?
Yeah, with the Skittles. And then one of the people asked him at the press conference about that. And he just had the Craig Jones, like, comedy line of, I don't think that's his son. And so,
yeah,
I mean, there'd be some animosity there. And just aside from all that bullshit, stylistically, I think that would be a great fight.
So they got the official UFC rankings: Islam JDM 1, Ian 2, Shavkat 3, Morales 4, Bilal 5, Prates 6. I mean, Kamaru's number 8. So,
they'll Patty Pimlet him and get him up to 5 just by not fighting. Don't you?
Sean Brady 7. Yeah.
Don't you worry. There's plenty of time for them to do their fuckery.
What do you make of Brady? Real quick, to kind of wrap up the 170. What do you make of Brady saying he wants to go to 155? I think it's a bad move.
I really hate it. You know, the fan in me of the sport loved it when Brady took the matchup, but the fan in me of Sean Brady at the time was like, oh fuck, like you're really gonna fight this guy that no one else wants to fight. And to me, it's just a bad loss. I would prefer to just see him kind of move on and get another fight. And I don't see how cutting another 15 pounds is really going to help him getting hit and stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, I know Brady is like a small, like welterweight, some people consider, but Morales is just a huge fucking 170.
And he's only like 20 years old too, so you know what I mean. Like he can cut that weight still.
Yeah, and I think like Jack versus Brady is just as intriguing because of the wrestling element and stuff. But yeah, I don't like it at 55. Like, what's his point behind that? Just thinking like that's the faster route to the title.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I just saw the clip of it, him talking about it on his podcast.
Yeah, it was just a rough loss, and it kind of reminds me just a lot of the Bilal Muhammad loss, and we remember how he came back from that one. So, hopefully he just sits on it, and because there's so many more intriguing matchups at 170 than trying to reintroduce yourself at 150. I mean, look at Hermanson. He just went down, and Oral Biden beat the fuck out of him. So yeah, if I had a vote, I would prefer Brady to stay at 170.
Yeah, speaking of 155, I believe we got a number one contender, and his name is Armen Sarukian. He absolutely just ran through Dan Hooker on Saturday. They got to do Armen versus Ilia. I know there's talk about Patty, or even Justin, but I'd rather do Justin, Patty, and just like Armen's now should be able to retake his first claim. Remember, that's how the year started. It was supposed to be Armen and Islam. And Ilia or Armen had to pull out. So to me, he got his fight back. He won. Did do the stupid headbutt at the fucking weigh-ins. Why would you do that? But nonetheless, him and Dan Hooker. He runs through Hooker and then just do him and Ilia.
Okay, so before I answer that, I got a question for you. As someone who is a proponent of wanting to see kind of the legend killer of watching, like, let's just do Ilia Justin. Can we just throw that fight in the trash can finally? Like, we don't need to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still like to see it just because it'd be a cool storyline, but
did Armen's performance make you be like, nah, I'm good? Like, yeah, Armen.
I just said Justin before Patty, but I'm good on Armen now. Yeah.
Yeah. You're fully bought back in. He took his lumps. He looked great, right?
Yeah.
I got kind of nervous in it because when he took him down in the first round and got the crucifix, I was just like, oh no, he's just gonna sacrifice position, hold him down, and pin him for 25 minutes. Like, this is not going to get you a title shot, Armen. And then, the first round ended, and he there was none of that. Like, the second round went, he was doing damage on the bottom. And that's like what really stood out to me is kind of the ground and pound he was doing once he had it on the ground, and then him looking for the finish. It was cool seeing Chimaev in his corner, kind of, throwing it back to when Armen was his corner.
Yeah.
And that's just going to be a lethal duo of cornermen. I wouldn't want to have the other guy in my corner. And this is undoubtedly the hardest fight for Ilia in the division. And for all the people that were saying that Ilia versus Islam would be the biggest fight in UFC history, well, guess what, motherfuckers? Like, you got what you want. It very well could be better. And this will be the fight, Armen versus Ilia. So, like, let's not sneeze on that and try to give it to someone else.
Yeah,
I mean,
as you like
led
it
with
too.
it, there's one number one contender.
Agreed. So Mike says here, Armen's good, bro. I don't think spinning out of a guillotine helps against the fastest and hardest combination puncher maybe the sport has ever seen in Ilia. So, I mean, that's true. I mean, it's gonna that fight to me the contradicting like styles is gonna make a great fight for that to me because like Armen's so good on the ground. He's a good grappler. And we know Ilia can grapple a little bit, but his hands are obviously lethal. So we'll have to see kind of what happens. It's being reported that who knows what. I don't really know how much I believe what I saw on the internet, but that Ilia may not fight till March, April. So it looks like Ariel Helwani kind of reported that too. Was like he thought they were going to open up with Ilia on the Paramount card, but that's not what's happening. So seems like options are open, and it should be Armen for me.
Yeah, well, on his the Saturday React show, that's kind of what he was touting, and of course that got me like holding my face, like come on, like and like I understand like the point he was making because the Paramount is about to start and stuff, but then he completely walked it back on Monday because I think he got pretty much new information that it was not going to be Ilia in January, and Volk has always kind of had February circled, so it being in the spring isn't too much shocking. If anything, I think that just helps Armen's chances of that fight getting booked. And to me, it's the fastest golden ticket for, like, it's not only me that thinks this. Like, Khabib literally said he thinks that Armen is the best 155er currently, and he will beat Ilia. So, Ilia, you want Islam to take you serious? The fastest way in doing that would be beating Armen Sarukian, not calling out Patty, who has beaten down a decrepit Michael Chandler. And I'm not like trying to downplay Patty because he's drastically improved. He's looked a lot better. His frame is so much bigger than Ilia.
Yeah.
But I think Armen is just by far the clearest case, and not only stylistically is it the biggest fight, but I think box office wise, that's the biggest fight you can do. Like, yeah, Patty will draw in a few other like casual interest fans that aren't really glued into it, but that is like by far the biggest fight they can make at 155 is Ilia, because like if Ilia is able to beat Armen, he's going to be champion there for a long time. Because I mean, that to me, that's the only one I see having a chance to get it done. I think he beats anyone else in that division.
Yeah, I do too. I think Armen's got a good chance to beat Ilia. I was kind of like I said, and I would just do Justin and Patty. Like Patty's 5, like he kind of needs one more. They've kind of fugazied his ass in there in the top 5, like. And I'm just do him and Justin.
I want Patty and Oliveira. That's
I like that. But they're fucking Max and Oliveira, so I just go ahead and do that.
Yeah, that was kind of put out into the universe and stuff. So that could definitely strike that one.
You got BSD laying right there too. Like him and Patty would be a fun one.
That would be a very fun fight. I mean, especially if we were to go to the ground too.
Yeah.
I don't know. In my mind, I'm kind of just assuming Gaethje is retired because he said that if he didn't get the title fight, he was going to retire, and I kind of believe it because I just don't think anything at the top really interests him. Obviously, he's got the Ali card in his back pocket, so that could just be kind of some negotiating. But and when I say I don't think he fights Patty, it's not because I don't think he doesn't like the matchup or anything. I just don't think that stuff really interests him at this point in his career. And I truly kind of believe the title shot or bust thing with him.
Yeah. Mike kind of agrees. Patty versus BSD would actually be heat. Yeah, I think so, man. That'd be a fun fight. Like, Patty always says Scousers can't get knocked out. Well, if there's a guy that could possibly knock you out, it might be BSD. And, we've seen his ground game improve drastically over the last 3-4 fights since the Moicano fight. And how fast is that now? You know what I mean? Like he's loses to Moicano and looks pretty shitty in that fight. And now a year later, like he's way ahead of Moicano, and Moicano and Dan Hooker are talking about fighting because they both suck. So it signed me up for that fight. But I just think like BSD versus Petty, you got two guys on the rise. Like one guy's going to eventually kind of get semi-killed off, but why not, man? That would be a fun fight to tune into, especially if you do it in France or if you do it in London. Like that could. Are you telling me that couldn't headline a fucking a fight night overseas? Absolutely, sign me up.
Easily, and they absolutely should do it over there. Fortunately with Patty's, kind of popularity, there's no way they're going to put that in the Apex. So at least we have that going for us. Hooker kind of blanked my mind. That's kind of the one that I was hoping if Justin were to take a fight that we finally get Gaethje versus Hooker. I kind of thought we always got robbed of that one. And, actually, I guess to Gaethje's credit, that's kind of the main reason he's kind of holding down for a title shot because, in his mind, that's the fight he thought he was getting to get to that status. And then with the random pullout, it kind of went against him. So, I get Justin's point of view, but I think he at least kind of needs one more. I think it's very unlikely they run him next. But at the same time, it wouldn't always shock me because, we know who he's got in his corner there. But
yeah, I think we agreed. We got to shout out a couple other people from Saturday, mainly our guy Waldo the Cortez Acosta does it again, Bobby. And then as for his sixth fight of the year, in a few weeks here, not the pay-per-view, but back at the Apex, the end of the year would be the sixth fight. Right now, he's had 5 fights. He's 4-1. His only loss was in Shanghai or wherever it was in China, I believe, right? Against who was it? Not Volkov, but Pavlovich, yeah. And other than that, he's been knocking out folks. He took this fight on 48 hours notice, flies to Qatar.
Yeah.
I guess they thought his team wouldn't get through either. Like they had problems with customs or something like that, so they thought he would have to like not even have a team. But here he is. He knocks out Shamil Gaziev on Saturday in the first round, and I mean, give him and Blades. Just do it right now. Or him and Derek Lewis would be a fun one.
It's so crazy because when we broke that fight down, he wasn't even involved in it.
No.
Like, we were kind of talking like, oh, we'll see what the polar bear turns up. You never know what you're going to get out of him.
Yeah.
Well, that remains to be true because we got nothing out of him. I think it was like 10 minutes after we
right after we got off the air.
Yeah. And the generational run for Waldo just continues. And there's so many people that like weren't a believer of this man, and they're finally starting to come around. I mean, there was like, 5 or 6 people in the spaces who were like, no, not Waldo. And by the end of that fight, like the respect was put on that man's name, and everyone's in his corner now. And
he's now number 5. He is 5 in the UFC rankings. He's ahead of Jolton Almeida.
He absolutely deserves to be. Are you kidding? Like, he would beat the shit out of Almeida for one. But it just, let alone like with that activity and stuff. But it's just so fascinating to see like Waldo's game plan is pretty much to wait for these heavyweights to get themselves out of position and then pounce on them. And it's worked more times than it hasn't. I mean, he said he pretty much drew up the game plan on the flight over. Granted, it's a long flight, so they got a little bit of it. He had 2 cheeseburgers when he got the call, and he already ate one, but he decided not to eat the other. But I mean, just flying over there, and it wasn't even at a catch weight. I mean, I know it's heavyweight, but he still flew over there, made weight, and then like to me, he's almost the biggest story of the card because we kind of like knew the direction of where we'd be going at. We'd have a direction for 155, 170, and I mean, is it hyperbole for me to just tell Gon to go fuck himself and say just give him Waldo next? Because like that's kind of like where I'm at. He has a better record than Gon now.
Yeah, he is 16-2.
And you know, I think he's just kind of got the game figured out and putting himself in good grace with the UFC. And he already kind of had that in his bag from the last fight where he got poked in the eye and continued.
Yeah.
Now, like taking this on like 48 hours notice, it's I know like Dana has constantly doubled down on obviously the Gon fight should happen next. I'm obviously joking when I say just pass him over. But that's just like the run that Waldo is on. Like, I just feel like it's inevitable that him and Tom should fight. Like, putting the eye patch on Michael Bisping, like, could you not have, like, any better of a win to get interviewed by Bisping? You're putting a eye patch over Tom's countryman. Like, you know, for all the things like the UFC like tries to force, this is like one of the most natural things I've ever seen like play out. It's pretty bizarre. And
Listen to
just like Marab, grant his wish, get him on the end of the year to because I think that will break a record if he gets that fight, right? Or I'm a little unsure on that, but yeah, give him his wish. And to his credit, he's still trying to fight some very difficult guys too. It's not like
this year alone. He beat Ryan Spann in March. He beat Sergey Spivak in June. Then he lost to Sergey in August. He beat Ante Tomsky Dejai or whatever his name. Then beat Shamel Gaziev on Saturday. So
yeah, but you're almost underselling it because like he beat Tom's guy fucking blind and KO'd him after getting poked in the eye after Tom was unable to continue. Obviously, totally separate fights. But I mean, just imagine the promo that they would be able to cut going into the pay-per-view for that fight. It would just so. Yeah, I hope it works out for him. That train keeps rolling, and I would love to see that fight down the line.
Volkan Otismir had a nice knockout of Alonzo Menefield. No time does it again as well. Miratek Oralbai, I mean, this guy, just puts out Jack Hermanson as well. To me, like, do you like him at welterweight or do you like him at lightweight? I think just leave him at welterweight.
I wanted to stay at welterweight. I kind of assumed after needing 2 catchweight fights in a row, the UFC kind of asked him to pick a lane. And especially with like how top heavy that division is, there are so many more intriguing matchups at 170. Keep him there. That was a rough loss for Hermanson. I really don't know what he's supposed to do next, but I did not like him going down there.
Me neither. Wasn't a fan of it. Then not a fan of it now.
I think it's why I'm so emphatically against Brady going down too.
I probably when a guy goes down, it never works out.
Yeah, like I probably would have equally not liked it, but having just that fresh like recency bias in my mind, it's like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Koichi Horiguchi, nice sub win as well on Saturday. His first win in about a decade in the UFC. Obviously, He's kind of been champion in other places, but he kind of called out the champ. So kind of maybe if he gets past Van, it seems like Pantoja is willing to oblige. He says he loves Koji, their teammates. He credits Koji for him being as good as he was. I was watching an interview. So he pretty much was like, they could talk a little trash talk together. It'd be fun. Sounds like it's a fight that he, is wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It kind of just shows you how humble Pantoja is and how much he really values his teammates and stuff. And it seems like he's someone that's very important to his rise. So, it's good to see him pay it back like that. I definitely don't think he should be next. I think, especially in this division, he should be asked to get one more. Charles Johnson was trying to call out Kai Car France.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he might be retiring. So, give Charles Johnson that fight. Would that be intriguing to you?
Yeah, why not? I mean, if you're trying to get Koji one more, but if you're not, Charles is ranked below him, I think.
Well, that's because those rankings are just straight terrorism.
Well, yeah.
He got dropped for pretty much not fighting. But, actually, I think he was tweeting about it, saying how dumb the rankings were because he got dropped.
Well, he wasn't dropped. It's because he lost. He dropped like 4 places, and the guy got caught for steroids.
Mm-hmm.
So Koji is 8, Charles is 13. So,
yeah, no, I mean, if you look at the rankings, I guess it really doesn't make sense. But it was more,
What about Tatsu Tiara? That would be a hell of a fight.
Yeah, no, that would definitely work. I think I was just more trying to kind of throw Charles a bone because I think he deserves to be fighting kind of someone in that top 5, at least in the top 8.
Yeah, you got Steve Ursig and Tim Elliott right there. Manel Cape.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like apparently Ursig is turned down Johnson and stuff. And but yeah, I mean that's kind of why I'm just like the component of, well, at least one more, because like you see how heavy that division is. I mean, let's not also, I know I'm kind of going on a Charles Johnson tangent here, but let's not also forget he's got the victory over Joshua Van there.
Yeah, who could be champion, in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be a epic rematch with a belt involved? But I mean, Horiguchi, that was like probably the best feel-good win on the card, and I didn't see one person that was unhappy with it. Those stories don't always like work out that good, like when there's such like a layoff with the UFC. So good to see that one kind of on the right side of history there. And I'm kind of excited to see how far it could go, because I know a lot of people would kind of make the point that flyweight kind of needs something. And I'm obviously not trying to discredit the great co-main event we have next weekend, because I've been the one banging for the table waiting for that. But
then in the last card of the year, you got Royval versus Cape on that card as well.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
God, I really hope that I'm not even going to say it because I don't want to jinx it. But yeah, let's. I mean.
So maybe you can get the number 1 contender out of that. I mean, sign me up if Josh Van, and Brandon Royval for a 5-round fight,
Yeah. I mean, I kind of assume if Van wins, we are going to get a kind of rematch.
Automatic. Yeah, Pantoja's done enough to get an automatic rematch.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I know they rarely do those nowadays, but yeah, that would absolutely be the exception. But, like, it's a cool thing to see for Horiguchi, because like the ranked flyweights are such a difficult problem to like get those wins on. So I mean, that is a very good quality win. We should not be taking that lightly.
Yeah, no, it was a good win. I'm glad to see him back. I think you give him somebody in that top 5 range. Maybe he gets the winner of Royval and Cape, and then I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you just go straight to the title. You could make a case, I guess, but because especially right because Pantoja's beat everybody at this point in time. Like how fast they fast track Josh Van. So,
well, not only that, the main reason I could see it happening is these are two teammates willing to fight each other.
Yeah.
And, Dana has always been so vocal, getting pissed off about guys like Barab and Aljo not wanting to fight. So that would probably be enough just there for them to make him next if Pantoja were to retain. So that really wouldn't shock me at all either.
Yeah, and that kind of pretty much sums up the rest of the card. Alexandre Temporia had a nice win as well. Speaking of Temporia, what do you make of Armen and Ilia? They did kind of have that interaction afterwards. Armen said that Ilia, he just touched me on the neck. There's a lot of shit afterwards. Then you had Ian and Hamzat get into it as well.
Okay, I'll touch on that now. Remind me to talk about Ilia's brother, though, because I want to highlight him. I don't know. So the video of him touching him on the neck, that apparently was when Armen was the backup for the Ilia Charles fight.
I got you.
So it wasn't like last weekend. That was like 2 months back.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's just because me, I've always been a fan of Ilia. Very exciting fighter, stylistic wise. But I'd be lying to you if a lot of the stuff he hasn't recently done has kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I don't know if it's just disingenuous, so you don't really buy it, but him trying to make that is I slapped you and you didn't do anything. I feel like he's the only one that believes that. Who else actually sees that video?
Yeah.
And, actually, thinks that. So I kind of just take everything he says with a grain of salt and just acknowledge that I still like to watch him fighting. But I put almost nothing into it. It's the comments I put more into it is him pretty much saying he doesn't want to fight Armen. He would prefer to fight Patty. And that type of stuff just rubs me the wrong way for the aspect of you're the guy that was claiming you wanted to fight Islam. Now you have an Islam caliber opponent and you want to fight the guy that everyone would probably favor you in, stuff like that. And the Netanyahu praise on the podcast just rubs me the wrong way. So I'm still a fan. I'm not I want to see Ilia lose now, but it's just stuff like that. It makes me just take what he says with a grain of salt. And it just has me with this opinion we'll just, wait to, see. I don't think we should do an interim title fight because he is not fighting until spring. I think that is just stupid and a waste of time.
Agreed. Yeah. We don't need to do. The only time there should be an interim title fight is if somebody gets injured.
Yeah, which he isn't. I mean, I don't know if it's because he's dealing with, a divorce or what, but, they kind of mentioned it was some personal stuff. And, at that point, the Paramount debut card for him was kind of already off the table. So that news isn't some crazy epiphany to me. It's just kind of
think by next week, right? Because next week's the pay-per-view. They'll have to announce the following pay-per-view, right? That's what always happens.
Well, from what I'm kind of hearing and they're putting out there, people are telling us to keep a close eye out on the Cowboys-Chiefs game. So that will be on CBS. And I'm very if they use that platform to announce a fight, it would just be huge on a couple different levels. We no longer have the Dana White selfie in the war room video. But this is some of the stuff that ESPN was kind of always reluctant to do for the UFC. Like they would never announce a UFC event on a Monday night football game or
Yeah.
something like that. So, who knows? Like maybe that will turn into absolutely nothing, and I'll look like an asshole next
We'll
week.
find out tomorrow.
Yeah,
This time
I mean,
tomorrow.
so, but that's why I think, there was the rumors of Pereira and Olberg,
Goldberg, yeah.
and then Kayla and Amanda as the co-main.
That's a good time. That's good fights right there.
It's a double title fight for free. So, I mean, it's absolutely
Sign
nothing
me
to
up.
sneeze at. Would they have preferred to probably done Ilia for the opening fight? Sure. But fortunately for them, they got a bunch of options, and, they're bringing in Pereira, so that will draw enough eyes. And, bearing the lead with that, I'm kind of happy to see Alex defending that title that he regained, if this is in fact true.
Yeah, hopefully it is. I wouldn't mind that. I don't hate that.
I like it a lot more than waiting for the White House
Jones.
for him to do nothing,
Yeah, same. You could do it now and still fight in the White House. I'm sure that's what they're going to tell him.
He absolutely could. I mean, we know the guy we're talking about. Like,
yeah. All right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Next week, we'll be able to cover no fights this weekend, Bobby. I'm going to be tuned into War Games, though, on the WWE on ESPN. Sign me. I've always loved probably one of my favorite matches is War Games.
I said this to you earlier, but I find it so comical that ESPN being on, now that wrestling's on ESPN, like they were doing like first take segments with Paul Heyman, and I just found it so comical that this is more realistic what they're talking about than the stuff they talk about on actual sports like NFL or football.
Yeah,
NFL is football or basketball. And no, I kind of assumed you'd be tuned in. What is that, Saturday they're doing that? Or?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it would kind of be interesting to maybe they'll do a little cross promoting there, because under the TKO umbrella, I mean, I know the UFC takes off Thanksgiving anyways, like we normally don't get a card, but there was no way they were gonna cross promote and step on something, which just kind of shows, even with the relationship ending with the UFC, that they're going to still have that good relationship with the TKO brand. So, if I were to ask you one thing that you're thankful that the UFC has done this year, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah. The fights, man. We've had so many good fights. Like, I'm thankful to be able to fucking sit down and watch some good fights. Like, I was just thinking, like, that fucking Van and fight was fucking
the Royval fight. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that? That was at wasn't that International Fight Week? Like that fucking like shit like that. Like that. Just there's always a good fight almost every weekend that we get to tune into. Even like shit that you don't really plan on tuning into. There's always fights. So I'm just thankful. A little bit thankful. I know they've done some Apex shows, but not as frequent, I feel like. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thankful that they're giving Joshua Van the title shot, and that next week will be the last pay-per-view hopefully I have to buy. So
yeah,
we'll knock on wood for that. But it'll be interesting to see how they kind of go into the new era, like with those shows. Like, I'm kind of curious how soon they're going to go back into the Apex under the new Paramount deal and stuff. But yeah. Oh, and then last real quick, Alexander Topuria, just wow. I mean, to me, when Ilia was fighting kind of these up and comer unranked guys, I don't know, like that was just like a very special win to me on Saturday, because that is a very gamed opponent. And I think he's ready to start fighting guys
So
like in the top 10 and stuff in that division.
ooh. Well, I mean, let's start with 15 or so first before we get into 10. But
Yeah,
yeah,
give him
so
like 15 to 13, something in that range. But I
I'm
was kind
also
of
thankful,
always,
Bobby. I'm thankful for the one UFC, like the 170 division, and maybe the 185 division. Those to me are the two best divisions right now in the UFC.
yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. We talk about it every week, so there's kind of always some throwaway, some stuff feels stale, and I'm sure we'll like get into it on the full like yearly recap show. But there were definitely some good positives like this year. It seemed to go by really fast. It's kind of
Yeah,
wild to think that there's only 3 events left on ESPN Plus when like it feels like just yesterday the Paramount deal got announced. So
yeah. So like the 155 division. I mean, got Ilia. For some reason, Tapology still has Islam at 2, but he's no longer. Then you got Armen, Max, Charles, Justin. So you got like a lot of those older heads in there. Then you got Patty. Then you finally got BSD. Like it's just I just feel like the 170 division right now is just the bantamweight's got some killers though too, man.
yeah, like contender wise, I think 170 is definitely like more deep.
Yeah,
155 at the top is just obviously very intriguing with Ilia and Armen. And then you're starting to get like the new blood in the rankings, like with Patty, similar to how we're seeing the rankings kind of turn over at 170. So, it wouldn't shock me at all, like another year from now, we're like, oh, whoa, like, look what happened to 155 here. And a lot of those older guys get cycled out. So,
and we're seeing that. We saw that at middleweight too, right? Like Hamzat was now the champ. Nasruddin Imanov is right there. Anthony Hernandez, Brendan Allen, like your favorite guy, Kaio, RDR are, all in the top 10. So
that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that Imavov made Caio Baharo look like a jackass in France. Thank you, Imavov.
oh shit. Well, I'm thankful for you, Bobby, and doing this incredible show every Wednesday night. My friend, we will be back next week, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. Next week is the final pay-per-view ever, as we know it. Because after that's PLE time, baby.
We're not calling it that.
We are calling it that. On this show, we're calling it that.
I don't know what we're going to call it, but I'm going to think of something far more. If I have to mention PLE every month, that's going to drive me insane.
UFC 323, the last. They should call it the last ride or something like that. Give it a cool nickname underneath. Headlined by none other than Merab versus Jan. Merab going for that 4th title. We've talked about Pantoja and Van on that card, as well as the co-main. Moreno versus Tiara is the 3rd fight. Henry Cejudo in his last fight taking on the Peyton Talbot. Jan Blachowicz on the card as well. Terrence McKinney, T-Rex, I didn't realize is on the card. So.
Are you breaking news there, or you're just assuming Henry retires?
No, he said that. Dana told him that. He said this is the last one.
That was kind of always. That's a very intriguing fight to me because Henry was having success versus Song. So I mean they did that one right. You take away those 2 title fights; those are some still very well put together ones.
Jalen Turner makes his return.
That one snuck up on us quick. I remember when they announced it, and I was like, I can't wait. And it's like, I was looking at the schedule the other day. I'm like, damn, that's already next week. So it's the time flies. But
Macy Barber's supposed to make her return.
Really?
Yeah, didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean Silva. spoiler alert, but that co-main event next week might be the hardest I've had making a pick for a fight. That it's been killing me for weeks. And if you could take it in your heart to give me an audible to not pick,
no,
I'd love
definitely not.
But
definitely
I know
not.
we don't do that in Headkicks and Haymakers. So I will be damned.
Yeah. So tune in next week to see who Bobby does pick between his two favorite flyweights in Pantoja and Josh Van. We'll be live 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. We'll break down the whole card and then some. Plus we'll talk about any other news. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hopefully everybody enjoys the nice Thanksgiving meal with their family, with their friends. Safe travels. So you can make it right back here next week, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern for another great episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. Bobby, it's been a pleasure, my friend, as always. Thankful for you. Thankful for the show. And that's it. You got anything else?
Nah, you pretty much covered it all. We got a good slate of Thanksgiving football. So
hell yeah.
Rare good one. And happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thankful for having me on the show, and enjoy your holiday.
Yeah, we'll see you next week, folks. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.